Dang it, wouldn't you know, I was loading it up and I missed the whole trailer. Can you believe that? I really got to get my prescription changed on my glasses. In my mind, there's no better way to spend a rainy day than to get back into my garage and work out all the little tasks that I've been postponing. And today, that's exactly what I plan to do. Today on Mud Tire, I'm back to work on my TJ. Problem where my shocks were a little bit too short for the length that I had built in originally. I wanted my axle only to be pushed back 2 inches, but I went back and changed my mind, decided to use a stretch tank, and I went back a full 6 inches, which has changed the geometry of everything under the back half of the TJ. This means that now I've had to go back through today and I've had to cut off my shock tabs and move them, outboard them, and bring them in tighter to the axle, all so that I can stop having clearance issues, one with the frame, but two, so I don't have to space out the shock and get the full length of travel that I'm getting. When I ordered the shocks, I did order the wrong length by accident, and I'm trying to make the best of that move until I decide to go coilover, just so I don't waste the money. Also, in the rear, the next step, now that I've outboarded the shocks and moved them up and in, I've got to come up with a way to readdress my bump stops. My current bump stop setting is not going to work anymore. Originally, it was in the factory position where it's inside the springs, and I've noticed in the front and rear I have had some issues where when I'm articulating at far droop, that my springs actually will pluck a long bump stop that's been run inside that spring. What I would like to do is weld on an adjustable bump stop mount, so that way if I decide to go hydraulic bump stop later on down the road, I can go back and do that very easily. Also, it's quick and easy to adjust bump stop to get it exactly dialed in. Now, what I have for this is this. I've cut a length of tube, and my plan is to use this as my bump stop, and we'll put a poly bushing on the end. And I'm going to use this, and it's a Synergy bump stop bracket. And my plan currently is to make a backing plate to go on it, weld that onto the frame, and then weld this to that plate. That way it comes out from the frame just enough to clear my shock. And I'm hoping that with that, I can get this in an angle that it will work just right for what I need. We're gonna try it out and see what happens. So currently you can see that my shock now is no longer an issue on the rear. I've actually got plenty of clearance between the frame and the shock body, so when I articulate, I actually don't have to worry about this anymore. It's been outboarded down here at the bottom, brought in tighter so that now I don't have to use any spacing to get the length on this shock tube that I need until I get longer shocks or coilovers. Now, my next section that I've got to work on, let me take you in here and see. This is my location. My current plan is probably to go in right here and probably put bump stop mount right here pointing downwards at the rear shock. So my thought is I'm going to make a small spacer right here out of a piece of stock metal that I've got thrown in the back. I'm going to weld on this piece at an angle matching the shock itself, and hopefully actually use the pad that's right here on the axle and use that as my bump stop. That's my current plan. We're going to try to tack everything on and just see if I have any clearance issues. I may have some issues with clearing the spring right at the edge, but I'm hoping once it's spaced out that it'll come out far enough that it shouldn't be a problem. This thing is still hot, so okay, yeah. What is going on, guys? Mud Tire is finally off on the trails. We are at 5313 today, and I have lost the group that I'm actually riding with, so I'm going to try to catch up to them. Apparently some people are stuck, but we're just out trying to have a good time and try to test out the Jeep and just see how it does today, and just have some good time with a couple guys locally. So in our short test and tune trip, we actually found that the bump stop relocation that we had done worked perfectly, and the outboarding of the shocks made articulation effortless with no binding anywhere in the range. So I was absolute success. But at the end of the day, this is the part that I enjoy the most. Actually sitting back and having some camaraderie with some good friends, that makes everything absolutely worth it. I appreciate you watching this show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe and stick around, for there's going to be more episodes coming out really soon. Thanks for watching.